Hi, in this second video of our series of article formatting tutorial, we're going to discuss preparing the article text. So you will remember that previously we copied text into the editor, we gave it a title, we linked it to a category, and it attached that article to the news page that you see there. We're going to talk in this video about spell checking. We're then going to have a look at formatting, font, the size, and we're going to talk a little bit about the paragraphs as well. So let us start. As always, you have to log in. I have logged in, as you could see there. And if we now move to our news page, we can find the article that we have added last time that we want to edit now. So let's just do that. Click on the edit button. It opens up the article inside our editor. So you will notice that there are two tools in our toolbar that we can use for spell checking. The one is to check the spelling of our document. The other one is to check the spelling as you type. Now, if you use this tool, check spelling as you type, you need to switch it on. You need to enable Skyed, which is the spell checking application in the background. And if you use that, you will find that it has actually highlighted all the words that it thinks are spelled incorrectly. Of course, if you have typed it in already without the spell checker running in the background, like we did, then we can click on that tool button, which will open up this window and highlight to us all the words that are deemed to be spelled incorrectly. Now the first word is Dashwoods. You can see it's in bright red and underlined, highlighting that this is spelled incorrectly. If I hover the mouse over that, a tooltip pops up that tells me click to get suggestions. Now there's already suggestions been given. In this case, it says that change it to Dashwoods as two words and it'll be happy with that. So yes, what we can do is we can say change it to that, or if the word appears more than once there, we will change it all to that word. It then comes up with sympathize as well, and it is spelled incorrectly according to this, so it suggests that we change it to that. So we can again use either change to change the one word, or if it appears more than once, change all. Edward, of course, is a name, so it should be capitalized, and we can change that as well. So is September, should be capitalized, so we'll change it wherever. Exeter is a town somewhere, that should be capitalized too. Unsatiable is been questioned and is suggested that we change it to insatiable. Yes, if that is the proper British English to use, we can change it to insatiable. Stanhill is probably a name of a place. And of course there's no suggestion for it. Then we can actually type it in there, Stanhill, Okay, and we can ask to change it to that. It then pops up and says all spelling errors have been corrected. So let's just have a look at the Stan Hill thing. You can see there we typed in our own word and it changed it to Stan Hill. There are no spelling errors, so all we do is we click on finish checking and it went ahead and updated the words for us. Sympathize, we're quite happy that that's what we want as well. If you click with the right hand mouse button, which is what I just did, it will actually come up with the suggestions there as well. So if we want to change it back to sympathize with a Z, we can change it. Incidentally, if we go back there, check spelling again, you will see that it is now asked us to change the word again to British English. So it gets a little bit confused between British English and American English. So if you click on American English, then it doesn't like the word favorite because that's spelled in a British spelling. If you click on British English, you will find that it is quite happy with the word favorite because that's spelled correctly, but then it's unhappy with the word sympathize. So sympathize, it wants to change it to an S, so I'm going to change that again. Stan Hill I'm going to ignore because we're quite happy with Stan Hill. It's not in the British or in the American dictionary, so we're quite happy. Finish checking and done. So don't be too concerned when it highlights it again like that. If we of course click there, we can disable SkyEd, which will then take away all the underlining, red underlining that we've seen. So that concludes our little tutorial on spell checking. Now let's move on to the next topic. What I want to talk about now is the format area, the format input field, the font field and the size field, and then I'm going to generally talk about changing the document to display nicely in paragraphs. Right, so let's start. Now if you look at the format field, you have different formatting styles that you can apply. You can normal formatting, heading, heading 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and if you look at the examples there, that is basically what it will look like if you change it to those headings. You can have formatted, you can have address, and you can have normal div. Now to use that, you really need to select your text, and you could use that tool to select all the text. So if I click on that tool, you can see that it selected all the text in the whole of my article. And if I now go and I change the format, you can play with this a little bit, but if I change the format to, let's say, heading 4, you will see that it changed everything to that specific format. If you did something and you didn't like it, then you can always use that undo button to undo. Generally normal should be okay, but sometimes you would find that especially when you work with tables or something, that there would be lots of white space in between the lines and so on, and then you could use something, another format to change that. So I'm just going to demonstrate something. You will probably not see too much of a change, but if you just notice what the text looks like at the moment, especially with this gap in there between the two paragraphs, if I choose normal div then you can see it compacts the text a little bit more. If I undo that, you can see that it moves it out a little bit, especially with that paragraph. If I redo, you can also redo. If you undid something you want to redo, you click on the redo and you will now notice that it is in normal font but div. You can change the font style as well. If you select all your text, you can choose another font if you want, like Georgia, or you select all the text, you can choose another font like Trebuchet, or you could select all the text again, change your font to Verdana, which is what I prefer. And of course you can also use a different font size. You can go to as small as you like in this specific font, like 8, which will make it almost impossible to read, or you can choose a proper size, let's say 12, still maybe a little bit too small font size. I prefer for normal text in a document font size 16. That's very easy to read, don't have to squint at all. You could of course select just certain text and change the size of only what you selected to something very extreme like that. So you're not limited to selecting the whole document only, you can select any amount of text that you want to change. So that is the font size. Of course, if I don't like that, I can again undo. The next thing that I would want to just talk about very briefly is paragraphing. Now you can see that from there to there, clearly there's a new paragraph. That's perfect, no problem with that at all. So we'll leave that as is, but there you can see a paragraph has ended and the new paragraph starting does not show very easily. So all you really need to do is press your return or your enter key once and you will create a nice blank space which separates your paragraphs from each other. Well, all I really need to do now is I need to save this document either there or there. So all the changes that I have made to this document takes effect. You will get a message telling you, of course, that the article is successfully saved. If you want to get rid of that message, you can click on the little X button there and it will get rid of it, and you will notice that our changes were all saved. That is all for this video. Watch out for the next video. Thank you for watching.